The sense of self refers to an individual's awareness and perception of their own identity, personality, and characteristics. It includes one's beliefs, emotions, and experiences that contribute to a unique sense of who they are and their place in the world. This sense of self is shaped by various factors, including upbringing, cultural and social interactions, and personal experiences. Upbringing can have a significant impact on an individual's sense of self. A person's early childhood experiences, relationships with family members can shape their self-identity. For example, a nurturing and supportive childhood environment can lead to a strong and positive sense of self, while experiences of abuse or criticism can have the opposite effect and lead to low self-esteem. Cultural and social norms also play a role, as they shape expectations and standards for behavior and can influence how individuals see themselves and their place in society. Having a sense of self is important for good performance in society. Different social structures, such as families, schools, require individuals to have a reliable sense of identity. From an early age, parents shape a child's identity by telling them about their appearance and behavior. This trend continues in schools and other institutions, where individuals are often placed into prescribed roles and categories. The sense of self is not a static or unchanging, but rather a constantly evolving and flexible concept. This means that the sense of self is not an absolute truth, but rather a subjective experience that is subject to change. People can observe this phenomenon by noticing that they have different personalities in different situations, such as when they are with their parents, colleagues, friends, etc. In essence, people are made up of various identity components that emerge in different circumstances. Additionally, some argue that the sense of self is an illusion because it is based on the assumption that there is a clear distinction between the self and the external world, when in reality these boundaries are much more fluid and interconnected. It is argued that the self and the world are not separate entities, but rather two aspects of the same underlying reality. In this view, the illusion of separation arises from our limited perspective and the way that we experience the world through the lens of our senses and our limited understanding. By breaking down the illusion of separation, individuals can achieve a deeper sense of unity with the world, leading to greater peace, contentment, and well-being. Neuroscientists have found a strong correlation between the overactivity of areas involved in the feeling of self with mental conditions like depression and anxiety. These areas of the brain called default pathway or default mode network are active when a person is busy doing activities which involve the sense of self. And that's when a person is caught in self-blaming thoughts or is anxious or depressed, this pathway of the brain is more active. This part of the brain has a spontaneous baseline activity, but when a person consistently engages in self-destructive thoughts, it activates and strengthens this network, leading to an increased frequency of such thoughts. This in turn would lead to more anxiety and feelings of contraction. The existence of this neural pathway was advantageous during the evolution of human beings during hunting-gathering societies, as being alert and aware helped individuals avoid becoming prey to predators. This structure has become more active during the agrarian period, where there was hierarchy and people benefited from being in higher positions of the society, in order to find better mates and shelter and avoid the risk of being abandoned from the group. This could have led them to their death or being killed by the other tribes. This structure has been handed down by our ancestors to us, although what it does at the moment is more destructive than being useful for us. Studies have shown that when a person is fully engaged in an activity that demands their complete attention, or during deep meditation, the activity in this neural pathway decreases significantly, and this leads to loss of sense of self and expansion of consciousness. At the same time, this coincides with a sense of well-being when a person is not busy thinking about itself. Research has revealed that in individuals who regularly practice meditation, the baseline activity of the pathway is significantly reduced. On the other hand, people who struggle with anxiety and depression have much higher activity on this network. Coincidentally, Drugs like magic mushrooms and some other psychedelics tend to suppress this pathway and cause a feeling of expansion of consciousness and bliss and unity with the universe. All of this shows losing the feeling of the self can be very beneficial to us. But how can we achieve this? The single most effective and enduring means of achieving this is through meditation and what some people call contemplation. During meditation, one can notice there isn't anyone in the head which thinks or does an action. The human mind works like a robot, which doesn't have any control over its contents. More than 90% of the activity of the brain is out of our awareness. Thoughts constantly pop out of the darkness and seek our attention. If we don't pay attention to them, they simply vanish, and even if we try to recall them, we wouldn't succeed. On the other hand, if we pay attention to them, they engage our consciousness and can cause suffering, if we don't see them as they are, as mere thoughts. It is useful to remind here that we as consciousness are not the thoughts. If it would be the case, when the thoughts go away we would cease to exist, but that's not the case. We can just be aware of the present moment and now, empty of any thoughts or feelings. That's the secret of enduring bliss. We are the consciousness, and we never change and never die. This can be observed by reflecting on one's memories from early childhood, through their school years and up to the present time. The sense of awareness has been the same throughout our life and has never changed even a bit. Only the content of our consciousness and our personality has changed. In fact, we might have several personalities in front of different people, but the sense of pure awareness and presence never changes. It will never die, because awareness cannot ever become aware of its non-existence. Here we might have some peculiar mind exercise. We can ask ourselves what differentiates different people's awareness. The answer is that all are the same. All are aware of their presence. The difference is the content of the consciousness and memories, and when we lose our memories of the past, we all will be the same one. When our body dies, as our consciousness cannot feel the non-existence of itself, the first person which is born will be us. This feeling of the centrality of the universe called consciousness is the same in all people from the beginning to end. The next time you look at the sky and admire the beauty of the stars, consider that you may have been in awe of the beauty of them for eternity, but you simply don't remember it, as you are only aware of the memories of your present body. The same could be true about our next experiment. When considering the idea of memory surgery, one might wonder at what point a person who undergoes this procedure would no longer be considered the same individual. Would this change occur suddenly or gradually? These questions raise further questions about the nature of identity and the role of memories in shaping our sense of self. We will dissect this topic more later on. Do you share the view that as conscious beings, we have always existed from the past until now and beyond? What are your thoughts on this concept? Feel free to comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We will have many more content related to the consciousness in future.